the same class again. Okay. Let's wait for. Yeah. So I was simply explaining the tags. I can see the same document to you all. Okay. And so the same description is mentioned here because there's nothing much to. Right. Okay. This class we just talking about this tags. Okay. One by one. So feel free to ask me any questions if you have. If you want me to repeat this same class again, I want to do that. So I want to ask you questions. So can someone tell me how to create a VF page in Salesforce? So I have shown you a simple step for creating a VF page in Salesforce. Vicomp, can you answer that question? How to create a VF page? Just creating a VF page. I just need a simple step for that. There are 2 steps. Yeah, I can show that to you again. Because I'm not comfortable, I can show that.
In the browser.
Yeah.
Apex and then the whatever the name you want to give.
Exactly. So if this is your current logged in organization, so I'm logging in again because it's so I logged in afternoon time. So suppose this is your I'm logging into the application now. I hope everyone is able to access the organization. Can you guys access this organization? The partner edition. See the group email what we have created by Rahul. This class. Right.
No.
Okay. Rahul, can you share the credentials to all the people? I think the training one, training or cerebral one, batch one like that we created, right? I can show it to you. Yeah. The Gmail address is training cerebral one. I'm messaging to you all. Okay. This is the Salesforce username. Okay, and I think the password is cerebral one. I remember. Cerebral one is the password for this, and the Gmail account for the same account is okay, and the password for this is also cerebral one. Okay. So please use this login information. You log into Gmail first and try to log in from login.salesforce.com with this username and password so that it sends some security token of 5-digit code to your email account. Yeah, exactly. I think Rahul is messaging you on the chat also. You can copy the note, the same thing. So the username of Gmail is same thing, but you have to replace a badge. Okay, you have to remove the badge from the Salesforce username. I tried of creating the same username in Salesforce, but that username is already taken by some other guy. Okay, got it? I'm sending it to you all. Okay, I'm sending it to you all. Fine. So for creating a VF page, the simple step is whenever you log into the system or whenever you open any page, you see the common URL that ap1.salesforce.com. Okay. After that, simply replace all the strings after hash.com / okay, and after that simply put apex hash cerebral timing. Okay, CREBRAL. So as this page is already created, it will open the page. But if the page is not existing in the system, it shows some VF error saying that the page is not available in the system, and below that it will show some simple link to create a new page with the name what you have mentioned here. In the SFDC class, we have created the cerebral training page, and with the I have built a simple VF code. So I have not explained this code in the SFDC class. I'm going to explain after finishing the tags. Okay. In the SFDC class, I have completely explained the tags, the use of each and every tag. Okay. Now, if I'm giving it as cerebral, if I'm clicking on, if you click on go, see, the same thing is happening 2 times because this is the logic what I'm doing here. Whatever the information what I'm giving in the text box, if I'm clicking after giving the text, if I'm clicking on go, this string will be appended and it will be printed here. So in VF pages, the comments can be defined in the format of this. Okay. Output starts here. It won't display at all here. Okay. The comments will be defined in the format of this. Okay. Less than symbol. Okay. Exclamation mark. Hyphen hyphen. Put the text what you want to put in the comments, and again hyphen hyphen and greater than symbol. So I'm giving it as Venkat. I'm clicking on go now. It works because it won't affect. The comments will not be considered by our VF renderer. Okay. Right. Here, I want to show one small thing to you. Okay. I am not seeing any header. Salesforce header is not able. I cannot see that. I cannot see even the left header also. Left side sidebar also. I cannot see the sidebar also. The reason why I cannot see these 2 things is, see, generally you see I asked you to create. I generally put down apex :page start tag and end tag, right? Okay, these are 2 tags, but here if you see these 2 parameters, so so this is not parameter, these are attributes of this tag. Show header is the attribute, I gave it as false. That is the reason I am disabling the header of the current page. There is no header in the current scenario. I am making it as true. I am clicking on save. Now I got the header. Earlier I don't see any header because it's a completely blank page with simple text box. Now when I'm clicking on enter, I got the complete header. See, this is enabled with a simple checkbox. Got it? If I'm making it as false, it will again go back to the previous stage where there won't be any sidebar and where there is no any header also. And there is one more attribute. See, when I click on space, it automatically shows the all possible options, attributes. I can use it here. See, there is one more option called show chart, show header. These are simple Boolean values. We have to use true or false inside that attributes. Got it? So I am using sidebar. Okay, sidebar equal to, by default it's true. If I'm doing it as false, if I'm clicking on save, you can see the result, what happens to this. See, now there is no sidebar and the length of the page becomes, the height of the page becomes very small because there is no inbuilt sidebar, right? By default, show header is equal to true, show sidebar equal to true, okay? All the items are true, okay? If I am removing this, it will consider that sidebar equal to true. Means the default value is true here. Yeah, anyway, I just explained these two attributes. So again, I want you to explain this again if you guys need this. Okay, can someone tell me if you need me to explain this tags again? If yes, I can do that. Because some people ask it, saying that they haven't understood yesterday's class. Yeah, I can again walk through the same yesterday's class. Okay. So here I'm just explaining how to create the page. This is a simple page, and this is example what I have shown to you. Okay. This is a simple example because there are a lot of other things to tell. This area is called Apex. This area is a VF page. I cannot explain this area now before introducing Apex. That is the reason I haven't explained the example completely, but I can do it now. So each and every means if you are developing any Java applications, there is a JSP in the front end, means that's a view, and the Java class is the controller, and the database what you are linking in the Java class is called model. Okay, it's MVC architecture. Same way, this is our view. VF page, VF programming is our view. Apex controller class, see, controller equal to hello. Now hello is called Apex controller class. This is the class which is supporting this page, because in this page we are going to display and use only one string value, that is the text. The text is the string value we are going to use and access this, and we are going to process the text string only. Means if you see this class, I am only using one string, that is public string, the text, getter and setter methods, because I am defining the string here and I am defining the getter and setter methods also with this simple statement. So generally people write separate getter and setter methods, as it says I want to make it really simple, and I am defining the getter and setter methods also in the same line. Till here it's defining the string, and here I am getting and setting. Getter and setter methods are here inside the brackets. So if you are giving data set methods only, you can access this string value onto the page. Otherwise, you cannot. That is the reason I'm using the string here. Whenever I'm entering some value into the text box, that is copying into the text string. And when I'm clicking on this button, command button, see, when I'm clicking on this action, see, this method is getting called because this is the link between VF page and the Apex method, see, action. If you are giving it as some different name, I have to use the same name here also. Public page reference is the method which the written parameter here is the URL. Okay. Current page reference. Okay. So here in this action, what I'm doing here is I'm using the text equal to the text plus text. I'm replacing the old value Venkat equal to Venkat plus Venkat. Here I'm concatenating both the strings. Got it? That's what's happening in our result, right? If I'm passing Venkat, it's automatically appending, concatenating, and displaying in the result. Now the new value of the text is Venkat. Now that is the reason in this output panel. So can someone tell me why are we using output panel? So this tag is useful for defining content. Okay, this is the grouping of content to display output text information. So that's the reason. This is the grouping, and inside this I'm using the text. If I want to link, if I want to show some information from the Apex page, I have to use curly brackets, exclamation mark, the text, the string name, the string, and the close curly brackets. So if you want to display, I can display simply like this. Otherwise, I can also use output text tag. Inside this, there is an attribute called value. I can show that to you. Instead of this, Apex output text. See, there's no need to write line by line code. If you are putting Apex : it shows all the possible Apex VF tags available. So you can select one of these and you can simply click on the start tag. Inside this, you have to pass parameters. You cannot pass parameters in the end tag. Sorry, you cannot give attributes in the end tag. You have to give attributes only in the start tag. In the output text, I'm simply passing value equal to, I'm selecting this value tag. Inside this, I'm just simply referencing the text. Okay, I'm clicking on save. Now let's do one thing. Let's put, yes, click on go. You now I have yes, 4s, because there is no break here. If I'm using the break tag, do you know BR tag for breaking? This is the HTML tag for breaking into the new line. If I'm clicking on yes now, I do have SS in the first line, and after in the second line, I do have one more SS. Got it? Okay. Because both of these things will display the same thing. I can directly give the value, but the reason why I am giving output text tag is this is automatically aligned in case of if you're adding very big text and all this stuff. You can add, if you need styling to be added, you can use this type of things. So there is a style tag here. See, style tag, I can directly put styling also. But here I have to introduce some more tag to style this text, paragraph tag or division tag to style this, because that's the basic HTML. Okay. If you want to style this, now see, import color. I did very small change. I simply added a style tag. This is also a style attribute inside the output text tag, and have inside this I have kept the value color equal to red. The styling has modified now. But here, if I want to do this, I have to introduce one more tag. It cannot be done, right? So I have to introduce tag. Instead of that, I can use this type of thing if I want to go with branding. Okay. Clicking on save. You can go see now. I can see the two messages. I want to show one thing. If I want to give some gap between these two, I can do that to my hello class. This is the VF page. This is the Apex controller class, which is linked to this. This is called custom controller class. Okay. And if I want to add some I want to add some space from save. Okay. This is saved. Let's give Rahul, and I'm clicking on go. You now have space between these two texts because I'm appending one more space between these two text items, because here I'm appending three items. One is the text and a simple space value between both these texts, and finally the text. Okay, let's go back again to our page. So these are basic core tags which are useful for defining the page, the first tag, and these two tags, this is for inserting the script into the JavaScript. In JavaScript is called script. Yes, you know script tag in HTML, right? W3 in HTML programming in web pages, right? You generally use scripts to validate the client side logic. Okay, if you are entering inside email address, if you are entering simple text value without upgrade symbol, if you want to throw out some error on the screen, I can use JavaScript for that, for validating the email address. Or suppose in the phone field, if I'm entering text values, I can validate saying you should not enter text value into this with the JavaScript. That kind of things can be done with JavaScript in general web pages also. Salesforce VF Page also accepts scripting, but if you are adding scripts from the external resources, first of all you have to upload it to static resources and use the scripts with include script tag. So this is for inserting the script, and this is for inserting the style sheets. Okay. If you want, I can show it to you. The general programming. Can someone tell who are good at HTML and basics? Do you know CSS, JavaScript from the current class? I want some information from you. If yes, can you message me a Y on the chat independently? Because I want to know who are good at be open with. Yeah, this is the HTML page of my website, and if you see in this is the HTML tag. Okay, All this HTML head tag, title tag will be automatically added by Salesforce. You don't need to take care about that. You just need to see, here's the script. You are inserting some script from the additional. See, here what you are doing is, you have defined a script in this folder. In this folder, assets folder, there is a JavaScript file called modernizer.js. Okay, this field, it's I think 400 lines of JavaScript code you are defining here. You are inserting the script with this simple line. This is the HTML code, but coming down to the Salesforce, the supporting tag for this is apex : include script, and the same information you have to put. Instead of source, you generally map the resource URL tag, which is useful for referencing the static resources. Here you have directly given the folder name, but in Salesforce you have to use the resource global variable. I can show that to you, because see, this is how you can use it. Inside apex include script src equal to, in the double quotes, you will put this URL for $resource dot, if there is a zip folder, test zip, the some zip, the folder zip folder name, comma, inside single quotes you provide the assets hash, the JavaScript file name. Okay, that's it. That's the tag here for including the script inside VF pages. Same way with the scripts and style sheets also. Style sheets are ended with .css. JavaScript files are ended with .js. Okay, I want to check the responses from you. Okay, because HTML programming is useful to show the data, but the user interface things can be configured with the CSS. Means styling. The full form of CSS is cascading style sheets. Okay, so you can define the colors, the size, the text format, the alignment, and the position of everything can be controllable with CSS. And even JavaScript is useful a lot for doing client side, means the browser side actions. Okay, you can validate some data on the go without going with the request. So before sending the request to the server, you can validate the data on the page. You can use some alert messages like that. Yeah. If you guys are probably in understanding CSS, I want you guys to go to the W3 schools and try the CSS course for a couple of hours. Okay. See, I want to tell you. So this is, if you write the text, generally you don't display this type of format, right? Now I want to change this text color and all this information. So for that I am clicking on inspect element. So inspect element is the developer tool for modifying the content lively on the page to see the changes, what's happening here. Okay. Do you see how social cloud mobile things are changing here? Yeah, do you see? Earlier it's ash color. This is changed into this. So this information is called cascading style sheet. You define this information in the CSS file. So what I'm defining here is all the data inside H1, inside H2 should appear in the red color format. Okay. The font weight is called the size, means the strongness. See, I can increase the font weight also. So this is a simple tool which you'll get for free in your Chrome. Okay. If you want to install this type of Firebug developer tool, you can even use it in your other browsers also by installing some simple extension, that is Firebug. I'm increasing the strength, means the boldness of is called for font weight. There are a lot of style information, okay, and font family. Role is the font family. That is the reason it's not looking like Arial format. So you can use Arial like this. Before defining this font family also, you have to see whether the application you are using will support it or not. If not, you can even add the fonts also to your assets of your web project. This is called CSS, okay? And coming down to the JavaScript, if you see console, so these are JavaScript. So for suppose when I'm clicking on request a demo, so this is simple action. When I'm clicking on this, I'm opening this page. Okay, this type of all actions is shown in you define in .js. Okay, I'm using shade.js, modernizer.js, all these JavaScript files. I'm referencing this. So these actions are defined in that JavaScript library. So one of the famous JavaScript library is jQuery. With that, you can use automatic dialog boxes, everything. Okay, most projects, enterprise projects are using this jQuery also. You have to learn this. Okay. So this is general web programming. This is nowhere related to the Salesforce.com. I am comparing this web programming, the general web programming, with our Salesforce Visual Force programming. Okay. So if some few people are not comfortable on this general web programming, if you know the general programming, you can compare both the things and you can easily understand. Here is the course for HTML, course for CSS, course for JavaScript. Click on this and start working on it. It generally takes not more than 3 to 4 hours, okay, for each course. Let's go back to our page again. So every tag in Salesforce in VF pages will help you to reduce the developer time to design means the front-end UI. Okay, so they have shown you some simple tag which shows some big detail page. The simple tag that is apex : detail, and these are, so if you want to build a template system in your application, you're going to use these 3 tags for building the templates. For suppose if you want to build a simple header and footer, if you want to build 14 VF pages in your system, every time you no need to build header, write 40 lines of code for header, 40 lines of code for your footer. You can define once with the apex for composition tag and define tags, and later on you can use this with the insert tag. You can insert this templates into any of the VF pages. That will reduce the number of lines of code you are writing, and if you want to change a very small thing, it automatically reflects in all the changes in all the VF pages. There's no need to update going to all the VF pages. I'm talking about only header and footer part. Again, each and every VF page have a different functionality inside the body. The body will be having the general. The body will be having the general different functionality based on the different VF pages. But the footer will say your company logo and your links of different tabs, and it also says welcome Venkat. That's the dynamic value which displays according to the username, and it also shows the logged in time. That type of information you can show for all the VF pages. And Ajax tags are really useful these days because so you might be seeing the cricket scores automatically refreshing without refreshing your page because that is with the Ajax, okay, asynchronous JavaScript, okay. So with these tags, you can take the features what you can do with Ajax. You can similar things you can do in Salesforce with these 5 tags. I can simply tell you in JavaScript we can define a function inside our current web page. Same thing you can do with Apex action function tag. With this you can define a function with some attributes and you can call some methods inside Apex controller class. This is for defining a, so you cannot simply define script with a simple script tag. You cannot write a direct JavaScript function inside your page. So this will help in this in creation of Apex function, action function. For creating a JavaScript function, you have to use this tag in Salesforce, and you can use this tag and you can link the JavaScript function what you have defined to the Apex method. Whenever I can show these examples, all these examples in the live demo, and I do have these examples in our enterprise developer organization what I shared to you. Okay. Action polar is a simple interval of time where you can define 1000 milliseconds. So if you are defining 1000 milliseconds, it automatically sends a request to the action method saying for updated data. For suppose if the data needs to be changed for every 1000 milliseconds, you can define the timer is 1000 milliseconds, and automatically this action polar will send a request to your function to get the new data. If the data is updated, it will show the new data on the page. The region is the area where you want to refresh on Ajax update. So this is processed when an Ajax request is generated. Action status is a simple function to tell you that the request what you have sent is in progress. If the request is done, if the request is completely done and you got the response, this will be finishing. It simply shows you the status, what's happening now. When you click on a button, if you are not getting any message or if you are not getting any result, what you think? The system is not responding. But the best practice of any enterprise system is to show some status. When I am clicking on any go button, I have to show something like loading or processing, that type of message, or there is a simple image to show like Windows loading type of simple image which shows a simple icon which will refresh like this. That type of things I can show with this tag. Action support, this generally adds asynchronous support to any component where you can define with the ID. Okay, let's move on to the core forms. These are tags which are helpful to get the similar Ajax type of functionalities in our application in which we can develop with VF pages. Okay. Coming down to the core forms, these are, so generally when you are using page layouts, you are not defining any input tags or you are not defining any input text area or request value, select options, all this stuff. But when you're developing application or with VF programming, we have to define each and everything. Similarly, like the JSP pages or HTML form tags. Each and every Apex HTML form tag have a similar Apex VF tag also. So What is the form? What is the form tag in HTML? Go back. Click on HTML. I'm clicking on simply form, searching for form here. See, text forms. If I'm clicking on form elements, means form tag. See, this is the select option. Text area option is here. Button option here. Button. This is the button tag. These are attributes for this, and a lot of the tags. See, form tag is this. Input tag. Data list for showing the list of data, like a select option, drop down box. Similarly, we do have these tags. The form tag is replaced with apex colon form. Every tag is having apex colon appended in the starting. Later on, the name is almost very similar to the HTML programming tag name only, right? So it's clearly says, I'm going to share the sheet to you. This is useful. If you have question, what is apex colon input file is useful for? Simply search here, go an input file to upload a file. This can be used an input tag for uploading a file to the Salesforce application. Okay, so they are clearly defining each and every tag on the right side of the tag. These are useful for inputting. These are called input tags, input form tags. These are called output form tags for displaying output. Right? Output field, output panel is for grouping some set of output content. If there is first name, last name, phone number, email address is the information you want to show on the page, you do one output panel tag for grouping all these four content. Start tag and end tag will be there. Inside that you can put four output text tags for displaying the first name, last name, email address, and phone number. And similarly, you have table tags in HTML. Okay, table. So less than table, greater than symbol is a table tag in HTML. Similarly, we have the table tag here called apex colon data table. It's an HTML table, and for defining the columns inside table. So you don't know how many columns are there. Okay. Here, let's go to the browser. Go to search for table. See how tables are defined. There is a table tag in the starting, TR. So can someone tell me how many rows, how many columns are defined here? So if you want to try yourself, W3 Schools will give an option. Simply try on your own thing. Also click on this. You simply take to the other editor. Here you can modify the screen here. So for suppose if I'm giving it as what I did is I'm simply adding one more TD row. TD means T data. TR means T row, table row. TD means table data. I'm clicking on see result. See, now I got one more row added because in the first column I'm removing the items. What happens? Let's see. Because here there are 4 TDs. That's the reason I got 4 columns. It generally considers the first thing. There is one more tag called TH. TH means T header. You can define the header like this. And I'm giving a try. Oh, sorry, I don't need to click on save, just click on see result. Okay. Let's try this. I think this information, the T header. Click on see result. As there are 4 columns in the first row, so now this table have 4 rows. And in the second row, there are only 3 items. Still, it's copied on from left to right, and there is this is left blank. And coming to the 4th row, if I'm giving it as let's see what happens. Now there will be 5 columns in my system. Okay, this is the table. So in Salesforce, if you want to define the number of columns, you cannot do this way. Simply put apex colon data table. Inside this, if you are giving columns, apex colon column, if you are giving 4 columns, it automatically takes 1, 2, 3, 4 columns. There is no need to write this much lines of code. Okay, that is the reason we are using data column tag for defining the column. If you are giving 6 columns, then there will be 6 columns, and you can insert some data into that table with 6 columns and a number of rows. You can insert a number of items into the table. And data list is also a list of values to display the list of values in an ordered and unordered format. So if I want to try the example of data list, see here, you can also try on your own. Just go back to your view page editor. Just click on component reference. It will open in the new tab. Now I'm going to open Apex. I want to learn about Apex data table. What I have to do is, see, when I clicked on component reference on this button, it taken me to this page, and here I can search for my tag. This is the data list, right? I want to try this. Click on this data list. So these are all the attributes. You have to learn about this first. See, an ordered and unordered list of values that is defined by iterating set of data. Okay. So this data set can include up to 1000 items it can display. Okay. And these are the attributes. I can use it inside this tag. Okay. So these are all JavaScript supporting attributes. For suppose if I'm defining this table here, and if I'm doing on click, I can do some action. Or else on mouse down, on mouse over. What is on mouse over? If I'm bringing my cursor on top of the table, it automatically triggers some action, and you can with that action I can call some Apex method which will automatically refresh my page. That type of options Salesforce provides you by reducing a lot of developer effort. Generally, for doing this type of things, you have to write a special JavaScript code by using the elements, IDs, classes, all this stuff. And again, I want to tell something to you. One important thing here is each and every element is having ID attribute. This is called identifier. In HTML programming, this is a really important thing. Okay, let's go back to our ERM cloud site. I will tell you what is ID and what is class. This is different from programming. I'm talking about the front-end IDs and classes. I'm clicking on inspect element. Okay, now let's go to any of the, let's go to this some image here. This is the image, right? Clicking on inspect element. See, this is a section. Let's go to this place, okay? Because there's no ID for this section. Here, I want to zoom this to have a better view. So this section, okay, this is a container where I'm storing the information about my company products. Okay, this complete section is the information about the company products. Okay, so this is a container. This is completely stored in a div tag, starting to end tag. So I'm expanding this. All the information what I have kept inside this is defined here. See? But I'm going to close it. I don't want to explain that. I came here to explain classes and ID. So what is ID? ID is a unique parameter, unique string you can define in the current web page. So in this web page, this ID should be unique. You cannot give the same ID to any other component, because so this ID is useful generally for calling some divisions, for referencing any tags, for defining the tags, for suppose if I want to call this tag, I can use directly products tag, because this is a unique value. There is no, for suppose if I'm searching for this in this ID in this current page, see, I don't see any ID parameter except that. Remaining things are text values. There's only one ID. But coming down to the container, there can be a number of containers in the same page, because see, I can show it to you. So I'm pasting container. See, I'm clicking on, there are 29 containers. Out of that, most of them are classes. See, this is a class, container equal to class. Sorry, class equal to container. Here also class equal to container. See, because classes can be duplicated. We generally use these classes and IDs to add some properties to the tags. Okay, so for suppose I'm selecting this. Or I'm so these classes, for suppose if I'm selecting this, I want to see that class name dot class container class, c dot container is class. These are all classes, c dot container, because generally I can give the class names many times. Container I gave for 4 components. Inside the CSS file, dot container, inside the brackets, if I'm giving some properties to the class, all the properties what I am defining for the container will be applied to all these items. For this item, again for all the items where it has class equal to container, because I'm applying some properties to all the components. That is the reason. See, the style format of this are all same, because they are using only one class, same styling. So these classes can be defined, the properties can be defined in the CSS, and the same classes and IDs can also be used in JavaScript to do some actions. For suppose what I generally do is, if I click on this request demo, I'm not calling any function, all this stuff. When I'm clicking on this function, so there is JavaScript code inside this page saying when give me a second. Yeah, when the class name with button hyphen primary is clicked, I have to open this. I will generally define this type of statements inside my inside my JavaScript. If I'm clicking on refresh, see, this is the class file I'm opening. Model hyphen title is the, when I'm clicking on this request demo, Means I generally calculate this type of things with IDs and classes. When I'm clicking on the class, I have to open this class. That is the reason this is opening. So this is how generally IDs and classes will be used. So I want to show you the CSS file of this sources, asset resources. I'm clicking on local storage. See, style sheets is here. See, the style sheets can be defined here. Dot means class. If you're giving hash symbol means it's a ID. I can also add properties with the ID also by defining hash. So you can learn all this stuff because this is really complex. There is around 6,000 lines of code only in CSS. Because see, everything is a property here. You define some properties: the length, height, the color coding of the text value, the position, how this button is positioned here, with some position attributes, that is absolute thing. So I'm talking about pure the programming. This is nowhere related to the Salesforce, okay? But this is all really useful for Salesforce development also, because everything is same in Salesforce also. This is called style tag. Instead of writing the style tag here, you can use CSS and you can define the styles, everything inside CSS file, and you can simply use class file here, class equal to some table style. Okay, I can show that to you. Here I can build it. Okay. I think I don't remember the proper tag for this. Okay. Now dot tab style equal to okay, color I don't need to click on save, just click on such result. See why this country data is changing? Because I have not mentioned any color coding value here. I simply mentioned the color coding in this class file. I applied this class file to the table class. It automatically applied to all the class items. For example, I'm removing this. I'm pasting here. I'm pasting in Jackson. Okay, I'm clicking on see result. Now see what happens here. I only applied the color coding equal to only to Venkat and only to Jackson. That's the reason I got only this. But one time I have defined the property and I'm using the class and applied the same property a number of times I can add it. This is the use of class. But let's do one thing. Let's do ID. ID equal to one ID. I'm giving the simple ID name. Okay. So for defining the IDs, I have to simply use hash ID. Here also I can define color equal to blue. I'm clicking on see result. Now what happens? See, the dot symbol is blue. Can I copy the same thing and the same ID? Can I use it in some other place? Generally, this is an error because you should not show here, but somehow it's refreshing. ID should be unique. If I'm using the same ID inside the same web page, it should throw some error. Okay, let's see, inspect some error. There will be some issue on my error log. See, according to HTML, ID should be unique. Okay, but somehow this is accepting. There is some issue here. Okay, one time I'm defining the properties on the style. Inside style, style is different. This is for adding styles for properties and styling. It is for adding functionality, means dialog boxes, validating the data before saving into the system. That's it. Okay, I'm coming back here into the page. So these are table tags. I was defining, telling about the table tags, right? And the panel grid also the similar way. Okay. For suppose if you have 20 items, if you want to place 20 items in two columns, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, then you have to go take a panel grid with two columns. There is a simple parameter. Let's check this item here. So I forgot to tell you guys. I have to click on usage. See, what I will do is now I'm going to the new page. Okay, Turbo training underscore data list. Click on that. Before you, I'm clicking a new page. It's asking me, saying that there's an error. Clicking on this to create that page. This is how you generally create the page. That's what I'm telling you in the today's class. I have a congratulations message. This is the new page, Cerebral Training underscore data list. I will remove everything what is defined here. I will save it. There's no. Now it's blank. Now this is a blank page. Now I want to copy this data here. I want to show the Apex data. Clicking on save. When I'm clicking on save, this is a page, and this is linked to a controller called data list item, which is not available in our current system. It's asking me to create a class. I'm clicking on this. It automatically creates the class for me without going to develop classes. Creating this. So don't worry about the class thing now. I will explain this because I haven't shared the topic. I'm showing you just to show the result of this, how it looks like data list. Okay. This is the controller code. I'm copying the controller code. I'm pasting inside this. I'm clicking on save. Now my cerebral training data list is done. If you select this, see, every item is placed in a data list. Okay, in ordered way. This is the data list usage. What I have did is I got all the accounts from the controller class. See, these are account names in my system, the 10 account names. I'm pulling this account name from the database. This is the SQL query what I'm running here in my system. Accounts equal to select name from account limit 10. So I'm giving limit 20. It shows the 20 accounts from my database, and it will return the database accounts. I'm using this list of accounts in my data list, and I'm simply passing the accounts, and I'm simply giving the account name. So I can do one thing. If you want to know one more column of account mobile, I don't know whether this field is there or not. Okay. account number. Let's try this. Oh, yeah. Because I need to know the proper API name when I'm using this here in the page. So just try with phone, which one? Yeah. See now this is the field. Okay. Let's go back to the system. I got a visual for seller saying. So S object row was retrieved by SQL without querying the account phone field. Here we have not queried the phone field. That is the reason it's showing some error to me. Now I am clicking on. See, this is the reason. I have not queried phone record from the database when I'm trying to display the information. This is how simple. So this with these 4 lines of code, you are displaying content on your page. Just click on save, and everything works fine with your phone and name. This is the account name. This is the phone number. Account name, phone number. Okay. So this is the data list. Okay. Which is the ordered list. Okay. This is, I think, same way. If you want to try some VF components, you can go to the component reference, go to the usage option. Okay. For example, if you want to try the image example, panel grid. Yeah. See, the number of columns you can define simply with the simple attribute, that is 3. Now this is having 3 columns. Do you want to try this example now? So I'm just showing you how to try examples on your own. Even I want to show some examples which are advanced examples to you in the coming classes. Now I'm trying to go with panel grid. So I'm clicking on enter. Now it's asking me to get new page. So here in the usage, they have given option of HTML, means the VF example as well as the respective HTML example also. If you want to build the same code in HTML, you have to do this. Write a table tag, T body tag, table body tag, T row tag, T data tag, T data. Okay. So this is how you have to define. But here, there is no to define all this T row, T data, all this stuff. Simply, I have mentioned 4 output text items. I can display n number of text items like this. I can even have 40, 50. If I'm giving columns equal to 3, it automatically splits this data into 3 items and it will distribute one by one like this. I want to try this example. Let's see this now. Here I'm just copying and pasting. Okay. I think I missed out some code. Clicking on save. Now we have a panel grid example in our page. See, now I want to do one thing. I want to copy this. I think approximately I have copied around 32 values, okay, because it's 34 minus 2, because there are 2 lines here to this on save. Now, oh my God, okay. Yeah, the problem here is See, the ID should not be seen because as I have copied the same values multiple times, the ID became unique. So the ID duplicated, right? That's the reason it's saying duplicate ID has been detected. It's asking me to modify. I'm modifying it. Okay. Um, yeah, I think I'm done. Yeah. I'm clicking on save now. There won't be duplicate values because I have modified all the IDs. Okay, 17th, error in 17th. I think I should not give the text value. Maybe ID should not start with text, integers. Okay, means number values. See, now I have given 32 values. 32, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 18, 21, 24, 27, 30, 32. It's automatically distributed three things automatically. Okay. Let's do one thing. Let's modify the number of columns to 6. 32 by 6 is 6 by 30. Okay. I should have five rows and 6 rows. Last row will be having only 2 items. I'm clicking on save. You can put even control S for that. See, I have 6 columns. Last row is having 2 values. 6, 12, 18, 24, 32. This is the column count. But it's not that easy to define in HTML. If you see the HTML programming here, see, appropriate HTML code. If you are giving 3 items, it's constant. It always show 3 columns. Okay. But again, if you want to modify the 3 columns into 7 columns, you have to copy all, remove the T rows, and you have to redefine all these things. It will take more than 2 hours for defining each and everything if there are more values. But here it simply automatically checks the number of columns, and the same way it distributes the items in an organized way. This is the lift of panel read tag. Yeah, same way I would like to explain the other tags as well in the tomorrow's class. I think I've already taken very much extra time today. Yeah. How about others? Rahul has messaged saying that I actually have good idea on HTML but not on CSS and JavaScript. But can others tell about their proficiency in CSS and JavaScript and HTML? Because this is really important. Most of the VF programming will be very similar to the HTML also. Sometimes you can also use the HTML tags inside your VF page. It supports that. It supports all the paragraph tags, div tags, HTML tags, script tags also. But you have to write a lot of code. But Salesforce VF programming will reduce the effort of the developer many times. Yeah. let's meet in the tomorrow. Let's meet in the tomorrow's class. Okay. Guys, do you have any questions for today? If I'm going too fast, I ask you to block me whenever you're feeling some means problem in understanding any items. Okay. Just ask me some questions. You can block me at any point of time. Yeah. I'm going to share the sheet, the PDF file, the VF cheat sheet, where you can also use this sheet when you are taking interviews also. Generally, people ask interviews like, so have you used Apex Action Support tag? Because these are complex tags. Most people will say that I have not used it. If you say that simply I used this tag for adding asynchronous support from checking this VF simple PDF file 2-page document, you are good in the interview question, right? So if they ask about ideas tag, you simply tell about this simple thing, and you're good at that. So I'm going to share the sheet to you on email. If you want to download, there's option to you download this also from the charter organization which I shared to you. That's this class with the username training.cerebralbatch1@gmail.com. Log in to your Salesforce organization, go to charter, click on files, all files, to automatically show all the cheat sheets available in the charter. You can download that. Okay. Thanks guys. It was my pleasure.